This is a Glitterball podcast. Before we get into today's episode, please remember I'm judging these housemates based solely off of an edit and not as total people. Please don't send them any hate, it's just a game show. It has been a bumper 2025 for Big Brother globally, and we're going to unpack the year that was in traditional He's Always Watching style with the traditional year in review. Welcome to a festive episode of He's Always Watching. From Glitterball, this is He's Always Watching, a Big Brother podcast. Hello Fishbowl friends and welcome to a festive episode of He's Always Watching. I've got to tell you, my life feels a little empty without Big Brother at the moment. Something doesn't feel quite right, but I am back in my non-gorilla fur coat because it is absolutely freezing in Australia today. Happy festive time of year if you celebrate all of that good stuff. If not, I am here to bring a little bit of cheer to your day, your evening, whatever time you're listening to this. And I want to chat about the year that was in the Big Brother verse because we have seen a lot this year. So I thought, let's bring back the traditional end of year wrap. Although this year it's even bigger because we, of course, have Australia as well. But I'm not going to keep you for too long because honestly, this could be like a giant PowerPoint presentation. But you don't need that. So it's lovely to see you. I have missed you since we finished the Australian adventure. But I did need a little bit of a break, given that I went and saw the Mayhem Ball in the Gap. So I was a little busy and it was a little crazy. But we're here and it's time to look back on 2025. Let's start how we mean to go on and let's talk about my beloved Big Brother UK. Because you know what? On reflection, the game did change this season. I think things like the mini-mart were a really great addition. I desperately want to see them keep it. But we actually have a little bit of news to unpack. And unfortunately, it is not good news. So, it would appear that ITV have made the decision to move Celebrity Big Brother to 2027, which I am devastated about. I was so excited to cover a fresh new celebrity series with all of you in April, May, March of next year. So I am deeply upset that ITV have made this decision for Jungle All Stars to be in its place. I think it's a wrong decision. I think it is going to be a hell of a long wait until we get to Civilian Big Brother in September. And I don't really see us starting any earlier than early September because they seem to treat Big Brother as an autumn show now. So it's going to be a very long wait. So I have a little bit of a plan, which I'll tell you at the end of the show, to sort of tide us over, because I don't know about you, but it's going to be a long wait. And I was really excited for Celebrity Big Brother. I was excited about it, given what we saw with the last series of Celebrity Big Brother. So I'm very, very disappointed. And I really do think this was the wrong decision. But I'm glad that I could be here to unpack it with you nevertheless. I'm sure Jungle All Stars will be incredible with the lineup that we've seen. But it's not Big Brother. And it just kind of makes me sad. But I'll tell you my plan a little later on in the show. Let's keep talking about Civilian and, of course, Celebrity from this year. I don't really have that many notes on Celebrity. I think Celebrity was pretty great as an overall package. However, I would say I think they maybe overpromised and underdelivered ever so slightly on the game has changed. Even though I think it did change, I think there was a little overpromise, underdeliver. Because I still believe they are making this up as they go along. And they were, because we saw the mini-mart evolve. And while that is good because it means they can take on viewer feedback if they choose to, I think you need to go into implementing a change like that with a little more surety and understanding of what you're trying to do. So I really hope that if that sticks around for 2026, they go into it with going, this is what worked, this is where we could take it, but they actually have a plan. Because if there's anything that we saw this season is they just threw a whole bunch of things at the wall and saw what stuck. So if you're going to do it, you need to do it well. We saw it with Bitcoin. That was so instrumental and influential throughout that entire season because it was implemented and executed well. That is the key. So I think that's what they really need to consider here. Speaking of constructive criticism that they may also want to consider is a little bit more of a mix of people when it comes to the casting, because until Farida reappeared, we had such a downcast, overly political, and I understand the world is overly political, but as I think we're all in agreement, if you look at Twitter and if you look at threads, if you go and study the social pockets where the fans are, we come to Big Brother to see daily life arguments, not arguments over the big political things. So hopefully they can kind of weed out the downcastness that we had in the first couple of weeks before they really threw a cat amongst the pigeons. Or maybe that was the plan all along. I don't know. I will tell you though, post-House, my opinions have totally changed on Zila and Elsa for the better. You knew I really grew to love Elsa as the series ended, but Zila has been a revelation for me post-House with his TikToks, and I really want to know how he feels about being portrayed in quite such a one-dimensional way. I know I was hard and harsh, but I was going off of what we were seeing. And it wasn't painting him in a good light. So I wonder how that has settled now. And indeed, I wonder how Marcus is feeling about him and Elsa. They seem like they're still pretty tight at the time of recording from what I've seen, which I love because I really did quite like how they slowed it down when they kind of went, oh, this is all a bit too much. Back to some of the things I really enjoyed about this season though. Again, as always, the task team really outdid themselves. I thought we had some wonderful, strong tasks this season. The workers task stands out to me. The fruit machine task stands out to me. Even the ending with the weird exit room traders S table coming back in for the interrogation. I think that could also be really good if you brought that back next year as well. There's a lot of strong things here. So I do hope that ITV take some of the good foundations of this season and build on them next year, because they were able to evolve Big Brother a little bit, I felt, in some ways, while also not totally throwing the core format out with the bathwater, if you will. And I think that is good. I think we're never going to see, and we'll get to it in a minute, a simple experiment of just putting people in a house and letting them do their thing. I don't think will ever work with today's modern audiences. The attention spans aren't long enough. We constantly need to be stimulated. So throwing things at these housemates is the only way you're going to do that. We will get into what happens when you just throw people into a house after the break, when we talk about what was supposed to be the OG format of Big Brother in Australia. I'll see you in just a second. Welcome back, Fishbowl friends. It is time to talk about the reboot that nobody saw coming. Well, at least not in October of 2024, because we've had a whole year to speculate, theorize, and suggest politely ideas for the reboot of Big Brother Australia. And we finally saw it happen. The shortest season of Big Brother Australia ever. Even shorter than the era of which we do not speak. But did it live up to the hype, or did it sort of... Well, I think we're somewhere in the middle, because as I said before the break, with the UK, you're never going to get a series in modern television where you just sit around and watch them talk or not do tasks constantly. What we got with Australia that I really hope the UK pays attention to is we got longer tasks that I think are great. There is no reason at all that these shows cannot carry a task over a week. We saw it with Christmas week here in Australia. We saw it with the BB Eat. Even though that was only 48 hours, it's still longer than the 24-hour tasks we saw in the UK this year. And I really hope that this shows producers you can do the longer tasks and theme it very well. Like Christmas week, I really have no notes. They did that so well, from Vinny's caroling eviction, which I don't think they will ever be able to top. That is how you do a backdoor eviction. It is bold, it is bizarre, it is perfectly themed. It goes to show that when you throw too many things at the kitchen sink, as they did, I'll be frank, they did, Ed's letter eviction, clang, it didn't work. So there has to be a balance of throwing things at the wall to see what sticks, which is fair enough. It's a short season. But also knowing when too many tricks is too many tricks. And I think that is probably my big note for Australia, for whether we end up with 2 seasons next year or whether we end up with 1, is pick some things and stick with them. Don't throw too many things at the wall just for the sake of there always being something. There has to be a good balance between you constantly need things to be relevant on socials and keep people's short attention spans occupied. I don't know that Australia has found that yet, and I don't know that the UK has found that yet either. So that is my hope for both editions next year, in whatever form they appear. Generally speaking, I did enjoy the Australian reboot. I do really hope there is less of a focus on the Love Island romance of it all next year, because if we have 8 weeks of that, I'm going to be asleep in the corner. I'm going to pull an Abiola and just go take a nap in the corner, because it's not interesting. And I think where Big Brother is interesting is when we get the conversations that make us look at Australian society, like with Jane, heaven help us all, with her being a Trumper, or with Abiola and Holly and the pretty privilege of it all. Like, there some really good moments. Hell, sorry Mia, but even Mia and Ed, and how that whole crush kind of went kabang. I would rather watch a lot more of that stuff than I would Holly and Colin, and to a certain extent, even Bruce and Coco. They were definitely the better duo of the 4. But even so, even for me, I still kind of went, oh, here we go again. Also, the hypocrisy of Coco's behavior, which we'll leave. It's not for now. You've heard my opinions. But all in all, I think it was a course correction season which succeeded. I don't think you're going to make the OG fans happy, especially with how you were shoving the OG seasons down the throat prior. So I think getting a Big Brother UK-esque actual reappearance did shock a lot of people. I'm not surprised, but I'm already used to how this variant, whatever you want to call it, of Big Brother is, so I'm not that shocked and I'm not that mad, but that's just me. You're not gonna please everybody, so hopefully they can find a balance of things that works a little better next year and isn't quite so drastic. Although I will say a high point for me was that Friday night party where Connor and Vinny were the bathroom attendants. I enjoyed that. The party itself I didn't love, but I really enjoyed seeing those two interact. Although I must say there is somebody I feel sorry for, and that was the other housemate in the running to be the 13th housemate. Wouldn't you feel awful about having your VT shown on national television, go through all that effort just like the rest of the housemates, and then to not end up in that house? I cannot believe that I was wrong in the fact that they didn't put him in at all. How brutal. If that were me, I would feel absolutely crushed. No. Just turning up for a VT and that's it, mate. Bye-bye. It's just kind of absolutely brutal. But it will be very interesting to see the kind of types that we have applying for Big Brother in Australia next year. I'm intrigued because I think the UK have done a wonderful job of weeding out the influencer, frame-grasping types. I feel like even though our 2025 crew are a little overexposed right now, generally speaking, the UK have done very well at finding characters. And I wonder how Australia will continue to go moving forward now that people have seen the success that this has been. Are they going to be able to weed out the ones as well as they have this time around? And I would argue, did they even weed them out that well with some of them? That's all I'm going to say. But we shall see. I would love to know your favourite moments from either season that we have covered this year on He's Always Watching. Let me give you some insight into the new year. So as you know, we're going to go back to 2009 and talk about Series 10 in the UK. But after that, we should be around sometime in February or March. Now that would have been where I would have slotted in Celebrity Big Brother. However, given that ITV in their infinite wisdom have decided to deprive us for the year, I'm thinking we go back to another celebrity series. So a little later on, towards the end of the 2009 series, I will put a vote out between a few different celebrity series. I'm thinking 2009, I'm thinking maybe even Celebrity Hijack, because it's different and it's weird. And maybe one of the Channel 5 era. I've got to think which one. I'll have a think. And what we'll do is we'll cover that in the traditional 3 weeks, 3 times a week format. Because I think by that point, I'm going to miss covering Big Brother in that way. So that's the plan for now. And then obviously we'll see where that fits with when we get Big Brother here in Australia. And indeed when we get Big Brother back in the UK. But for now, my dear, dear Fishbowl friends, thank you for an incredible 2 seasons this year. 3 seasons this year. That feels really weird to say. And thank you for the most incredible last 12 weeks. I have had so much fun and I love being here with all of you. I will see you a little sooner than you think. Maybe before New Year? With our dip back in the toe to the 2009 pond as we head to week 3, I believe it is, of content in that house. So buckle in, there is plenty to keep us going until Big Brother comes back to us in whatever current form, wherever. We will be here because that is what I do at He's Always Watching. And alongside the 2009 content, if you want my ramblings on more current TV shows like The Traitors, like RuPaul's Drag Race, and I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here Australia, then you need to head over to the Glittery Goodness feed, which you can find linked in the show notes, and you can subscribe there so that you stay up to date with all of the latest non-Big Brother TV that I love to talk about, because I just love talking about television. So you can find that all over there. So thank you again for being here. Have a wonderful festive season. Thank you so, so much for the most wonderful, wonderful year. Take care, and I'll see you soon. But in the meantime, remember, Big Brother's not the only one who's always watching. Bye!